All right, so today we're going to be talking in probability about permutations. Okay, permutations often goes hand in hand with combinations because they're different ways that you can arrange, in this case, letters of names, or arrange different positions in a student council or a government, or anything of the sort where you need to arrange something or some things. And with permutations, you arrange those things in a particular order or with a specific particular purpose, meaning that this person, once they're picked, they can't be rearranged, like the president's the president, or this letter is picked so you can't pick it again. So with the permutation, the order is very important. And so in the instructions here, we need to find the permutations, and there's two different ways you could find permutations. So there's permutations if you want to use every option that's available. So like in Part A, it says it wants us to use all the letters in a given California city name, which number 11 is Plymouth. There are 8 letters in Plymouth. And it wants us to use all 8. How many different ways can we arrange all the letters in Plymouth? So really, what I'm thinking about is I have 8 letters to choose from. So I have 8 letters to choose from for my first pick. I pick one. Then I only have 7 left. You pick, and then you pick it. I have 6 left. Pick 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I have a descending number of options because I pick one and I can't replace it. So in Plymouth, I had to multiply all those options together to find out how many total possible permutations I can have. And in math, that is what we call a factorial. So a factorial equals 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. In fact, I'll write that up here. And if you were to type that in on a calculator, either 8 factorial or 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, you would get 40,320. That would be your answer. Now, here's the other way we do permutations. What if I have all those 8 options in the word Plymouth, but I only want to pick a certain number of letters? So rather than just choosing all 8, I only want to pick, in this case, 2 of the 8 letters. So there's a formula that we need to know in order to do this problem. The formula looks like this. So it's NPR equals n factorial, so however many number of options I have, divided by the number of options minus the number I'd like to choose, factorial. Okay, so n represents the number of options I have. R is the number I want. R is the number I'd like to choose out of my options. So n always needs to be the bigger number because R is the number I'm choosing from that number. So if I were to redo Part A as with this formula, this is what it would look like. So I have 8 options, but I'm choosing all 8. So it would be 8 factorial over 8 minus 8 factorial, which would then be 8 factorial over 1, because 8 minus 8 is 0. But with 0 factorial equals 1. And that's another lesson for another day, but let's go ahead and assume and trust that 0 factorial equals 1. So, now we're on the part B, where it says, I want all 8 letters of Plymouth, but I'm only picking 2 letters in a particular order. So, I'd say 8P2, so I have 8 total options. I'm doing a permutation, and I'm only picking 2 of those. So in my formula, I'd write 8 factorial over 8 minus 2 factorial. So if I were to rewrite 8 factorial would be 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay? And on the bottom, 8 minus 2 is 6. So if I were to write out 6 factorial, it would be 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now let's take a look here, knowing our knowledge of multiplication and division. Are there any like terms I can cancel out from the numerator and the denominator? Notice how I can cross out 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 from both the top and the bottom. So all I have to do actually is 8 times 7, which is 56. So remember, I have 8 options, but I'm only picking the first 2. I only need to pick 2 of those 8 options. So if you think about it, going up back to the top to the purple, it's the same exact thing. I'm only picking my first 2 options. which I have 8 at the beginning, and then if I picked 1 for my second option, I only have 7 to choose from. So 8 times 7 is 56, so I have 56 options.